meeting of November 1st, 2022 to order. I'm going to request that the city clerk call the roll.
Mayor Weissman.
Here.
Vice Mayor Landman.
Here.
Commissioner Friedland.
Here.
Commissioner Joel.
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Marks.
Here.
Commissioner Narotsky.
Present.
Commissioner Shelley.
Yes.
Mr. Watson.
Here.
And Mr. Myers.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Ethan, I don't know, where are you sitting, Ethan? Raise your hand. Please, would you please come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Will everyone please stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You know, tonight's a special night, so we're going to vary off of the printed agenda, and I'm going to ask the city manager if there are any deletions or additions to the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. On the consent agenda, item B is being requested to be removed.
Thank you.
B.
I think we have a proclamation for Hindu Heritage Month. I'm going to ask the city manager to please present it. Please come up.
I have the proclamation, but you can speak, please.
Okay.
Please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney, City Clerk. Namaste. My name is Shefali Mehta, and I'm proud to call myself a resident of Aventura since 2006. On behalf of all Hindu Americans, it's a great privilege to receive this proclamation from you as we celebrate Hindu Heritage Month throughout USA. By way of background, Hindus are the fourth largest religious group in USA. Approximately 2.5 million Hindu Americans, comprising 0.7%, live across USA. In Florida, we have 0.4% of the population, and we are growing every day in number. Why this season are we celebrating it? The lunar period when our fall festivals are celebrated generally correspond to September to October, November, very similar to the Jewish traditions, actually. We celebrate by lighting diyas or lights and symbolically removing darkness and ignorance. Our celebrations reinforce virtues of seeking truth, living in peaceful harmony, tolerance, sharing, and assimilation. Many of these same principles are embodied in the constitutions of the US and India. Who are we? We are a law-abiding and peaceful community, also affectionately called a model community. Hindu culture and tradition values education, hard work, integrity, and perseverance. Hindus are working in every field, be it science, technology, engineering, medicine, business, education, law, journalism, politics, armed forces, and space exploration. Some of the best-known tech companies are led by Indian American CEOs. We believe in diversity, equality, inclusion, and nonviolence. We carry the legacy of Mahatma Gandhi, who employed nonviolent resistance to lead the struggle for India's independence, and to later inspire movements for civil rights and freedom across the world. On behalf of all Hindu Americans, I express sincerest thanks and gratitude to each one of you, and especially the Mayor and the City Commission for making this proclamation possible this year. We will work hard to enjoy this honor and remain model citizens of Aventura and the United States of America.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing all of that information with us. Please, sir.
Good evening. My name is Apurva Desai. I am also a proud resident of Aventura. but I've been also your neighbor for last 36 years. So I have seen Aventura grow and become a cultural center of the South Florida area. It's a very nice place to stay here. I echo what Mrs. Sefali Mehta said, that Indian community is becoming part of this large community, contributing to the civil goodness as well as in education, and participating in all the events. Like we just finished our Hindu New Year, which was about 2 weeks ago, called Festival of Light or Diwali, followed by 2079 Hindu New Year. So we are basically 50 years ahead compared to the Christian calendar in terms of keeping track of New Year's, okay? So again, thank you for bestowing us this honor, and thank you all.
Thank you.
On behalf of the mayor and the commission, we'd like to offer you this proclamation making Hindu Heritage Month here in Aventura in the month of November.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You know, we like to think of ourselves as a very inclusive community, and we're so delighted that you're part of our family. Thank you.
So very much. We're delighted. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is Employee Service Awards. City Manager.
Sure. Can I please have Christian Espinal? He's to come down. We're going to have to pull him out of the booth. He's behind the camera today. Just so you know, Christian has been with the city for 10 years. That means he was only here 6 years when I met him. He had no children. Now he has 2 children, and he has a lot more gray hair, if you notice there. He's behind the scenes. He works very closely with our IT department, and I can't tell you how many times he has gotten me out of trouble on my computer when I can't get my password to operate and things like that. But he's you know, unreplaceable, and he's a fantastic person here in Aventura. So we have a 10-year recognition, which in Aventura, you're kind of a rookie. By most of our people here. Kirsten, here's a certificate for your 10 years of service. And we offer this small token of our appreciation. Thank you very much. Can I ask Julia Cabello? Julia has been with, I was about to say Bay Harbor Islands. I was going to say Aventura for 20 years, but she started in Bay Harbor Islands, which I did not know as a dispatcher. Julia is a very humble person. She works in our records department, which probably 20 years ago was a little different than it is now. Anything that's important in policing, when it comes down to putting somebody behind bars or casework, it really always boils down to one thing: record keeping and what you can prove and what you can produce in court. I can't tell you how critical it is and how important this job has become over the years. They had a list of how many thousands of accident reports you've handled and the arrest reports and producing things for court. So it's really an incredibly difficult job. She's also a very good volunteer. She works a lot at her church, doing a lot of volunteer work, and we're just lucky to have her. 20 years of service and not going anywhere, I hope.
No, sir.
Okay.
The next item on our agenda is an update from Aventura City of Excellence School. I know that both Principal Tricala and Principal McKee are at a conference in Orlando. Do I have anyone here from ACES tonight?
The vice principal went home sick, so he was a late cancel, but we do have the assistant principal, Tanisha Yerby from down Sulphur.
Okay, so let me ask Tanisha to please come up and give us the update from Don Sofer Senior High School.
Good evening. I know this is my first time here. My name is Tanisha Evans-Yearby. I am one of the assistant principals at Don Sofer. I want to say good evening to the commissioners, also to the mayor and the city manager. Thank you so much for having us. I am actually here in the capacity of introducing one of our amazing students. He is our junior class president. You guys know him well, Ethan Pazak. He is a statesman of our school, and he's the son of Aventura. I have had the distinct pleasure of having almost 6 months with him. It's a privilege to be at Aventura. This is an amazing city, amazing. I've been embraced, so thank you so much for the warm welcome.
We thank you, and let me ask you a question. Was Ethan in school today?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
First time. Come on, Ethan.
Thank you, Ms. Yearby, for those really kind words. The work that she does on a day-to-day basis in Don Sofer, it's mesmerizing. It really is. She truly is a hard worker. And, she impressed the whole school in the beginning of the year with her, being in charge of the graduation. And I just wanted to say thank you very much for those kind words. Madam Mayor, City Commissioners, and guests, today marks the end of a chapter within the history books of the City of Aventura. Today is the last day our wonderful mayor and 3 loyal commissioners will be sitting on that side of the podium, presiding and voting on matters of this city. They leave behind an extraordinary legacy. They have established the freebie service within this city, fostered the development of new state-of-the-art buildings, and enhanced the city's infrastructure. But most importantly, they leave behind the creation of a high school that I have the distinct opportunity to represent today. Over the past month, Don Sofer Aventura High School, together with the student government, has strived to enrich a student's experience within the school while bringing attention to matters that matter to both students and faculty. At the beginning of the month, students in Don Sofer took their PSAT. Though a mundane process, this test allows a student to gauge their readiness level in regards to their SAT, while also having the opportunity to be awarded the Merit Scholarship. With more and more academic opportunities, the Student Government Association has been working tirelessly to bolster the school spirit within DSAHS while simultaneously spreading awareness of paramount issues. The SGA dedicated their time and attention to supporting the fight against breast cancer by advertising the sale of brand new breast cancer awareness shirts to be worn by students every single Wednesday. In addition to commemorating breast cancer, this month featured Red Ribbon Week, a week intended to deter students from falling victims to a trend that has ravaged this nation and our youth for decades: drugs. Should you visit the high school, you will see posters condemning the consumption of drugs and encouraging the implementation of a drug-free lifestyle. Mayor Weissman, Commissioner Landman, Commissioner Narodsky, and Commissioner Shelley, on behalf of the students of Don Sofer, on behalf of the teachers of Don Sofer, and on behalf of the future generation of Sofer graduates, thank you for your commitment to enriching the education and lives of students in Don Sofer, in Aventura, To Mayor-elect Weinberg, these coming years will mark a new chapter within Don Sofer Aventura High School and a milestone in the lives of those who will be attending it. And we at Don Sofer are grateful to your continuous support in making the future of Don Sofer even more fruitful than it already has been. Thank you so much.
Ethan, you make all of us so proud. Thank you.
I hope to keep it that way. Thank you.
The city manager has already told me that item B is being removed from the consent agenda. Let me ask the commission if there's any other item that you wish to remove from our consent agenda. Okay, then can I have a motion for the approval of the remaining items on the consent agenda, made by Commissioner Shelley, seconded by Vice Mayor Landman? Can I ask the city clerk for a roll call vote?
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Narodsky?
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landman?
Yes.
And Mayor Weissman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The consent agenda is just routine items that we didn't feel needed any additional discussion. Item B was removed, so I'm going to ask the city clerk to please read item B.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, adopting the City of Aventura 2023 legislative program and priorities attached hereto, authorizing the city manager to take necessary action to carry out the aims of this resolution and providing for an effective date.
Could I please have a motion for the approval of the resolution excluding item 3 on the legislative program, made by Commissioner Shelley, seconded by Commissioner Narodsky? I'm going to request that the city manager review the item.
Thank you, Mayor. This item in the legislative agenda, item 3, deals with the safe harbor law, which requires that a lender in a foreclosure of a condo or a co-op has to pay or pay forward at least 12 months of carrying costs of the association fees and/or assessments, or 1% of the mortgage, whichever is less. In this item, we're asking that the legislature enhance that to 24 months or 2% of the standing mortgage if a unit goes into foreclosure.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to open this item for any comments from the commission. Commissioner Narodsky.
It was explained to me probably 3 times prior, but you just let me know when is the time where I step out.
I will let you know when it's time for you to step out.
Thank you.
Do any commissioners have any comments on this item? Let me open the item to public comment. Are there any comments from the public on this item? If not, I will ask the city clerk for a roll call vote on all of the items except for item number 3.
Yes.
Please.
Commissioner Freeland?
Yes.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Narodsky?
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landman?
Yes.
And Mayor Weissman?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Commissioner Narodsky to please leave us for a moment, as he is recusing himself from this item. I'm going to ask for a motion for approval of item 3 of the resolution on legislative program and priorities, made by Commissioner Friedland, seconded by Vice Mayor Landman. I'm going to request the city manager review the item.
It is as I stated previously, it's the ability. We're encouraging the legislature to increase the requirements of a lender to pay the carrying costs on a unit that's in foreclosure instead of 12 months to 24 months, or instead of 1%, 2% of the mortgage. In years past, lenders could bypass that and not pay anything, leaving the buildings in bad shape where they couldn't carry an apartment and sometimes put the buildings into, I don't know, not bankruptcy, but in very bad financial straits. This law is meant to prevent that from happening, and we're asking that the legislature make it tougher on lenders so that they have the responsibility for the extra year or 2% of the carrying cost of a mortgage.
Again, we're siding on the side of our residents and asking the financial institutions to bear an additional year of the burden. Do any commissioners have any comments on this? Okay, then I'm going to open it to public comment. Does anyone in the public wish to address the commission on this item? Seeing there's none, I'm going to close it for public comment, and I'm going to ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Narodsky is absent. Commissioner Shelley? Vice Mayor Landman?
Yes.
And Mayor Weissman?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Can I please ask you to ask Commissioner Narodsky, please come back in. That brings us to item 7 on our agenda tonight, and it's our zoning hearings, quasi-judicial public hearings. I'm going to request the city attorney to provide the procedures for the quasi-judicial hearing for item 7.
Thank you, Mayor. Please be advised the following item on the Commission's agenda is quasi-judicial nature. If you wish to object or comment upon the item, please inform the Mayor once you request public comments. An opportunity for persons to speak on the item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on the item. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you refuse either to be cross-examined or to be sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the commission to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the city clerk.
Thank you so much. I'm going to request the city clerk to swear in those wishing to give testimony on item number 7.
If you will be providing comments on this item, item 7, I need you to stand up, raise your right hand, and be sworn in at this time. If you're the applicant that's in attendance or anybody that's going to be speaking on this item, I need you to raise your right hand and be sworn in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to request the city clerk to read the resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, granting conditional use approval pursuant to Section 31-144 C2K of the City Code of Ordinances to permit the establishment of a synagogue in the Community Business B2 District for the property located at 3585 Northeast 207th Street, City of Aventura, and providing for an effective date.
I'm going to ask for a motion for the approval of the resolution, made by Commissioner Friedland, seconded by Commissioner Narotsky. I'm going to request the Community Development Director, Kevin Klopp, to please review the item.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Commission. Kevin Klopp, Community Development Director. As you heard, this is a request for a conditional use approval from Chabad Waterways. The location of the request is shown here in the middle. Many of us are familiar with the Waterways Shopping Plaza. In this picture,
the request is for you to raise the mic or speak into it because it's hard for us to hear.
Certainly. Kevin Klopp, Community Development Director, conditional use request for Chabad Waterways. Shown in the picture, the street that this is located on is Northeast 207th. To the bottom of the picture would be 34th Avenue. To the top of the picture at the end would be One Island Place. Country Club Drive would be to the south of that canal you see on the right-hand side. And to the north, you have the residential areas called Marina Cove and Harbor Village. The request is pursuant to policy 2.3 of our future land use element in the comprehensive plan, which specifies that places of worship shall be allowed on property with a residential or business and office land use through the city's conditional use process, which is a process that requires city commission action. We did review the application. There are 7 standards within the code for conditional use. All are met. In general, it's consistent with the comprehensive plan and our code. Public facilities are available to serve the use, and it provides for orderly development and character with the neighborhood. The next steps, permitting is underway for this application. We did receive some inquiries, but we did not receive any comments of concern about this application. I'm happy to answer any questions, and as you see, the applicant is here.
Mr. Klopp, let me ask you, how many synagogues do we currently have, Chabads do we currently have in the waterways?
I believe there is one already, which was also approved through the conditional use process about 10 years ago, I believe.
Okay, and is there a reason this wasn't brought to our workshop?
It is a process that we wanted to move quickly for them. They didn't realize that a conditional use public hearing was required. So when I told them we did move it along as quickly as possible, we realized there wasn't going to be any reason to bring it to a workshop, that there likely would not be any concern over it. So we scheduled it right away.
Okay, let me ask the applicant if he has any comments for the commission. Okay, That's all right, sir. Do any members of the commission have any questions or comments? Commissioner Shelley.
Yeah, I've got a number of questions, Kevin. Could you put up the location again, please, to begin with?
Certainly.
And explain to me on that where the site is. Because that's almost the whole area to the left, and it looks like the lake is there, but I don't understand where the synagogue's going to be.
Certainly. So the synagogue, let's see, my mouse isn't going to work here. Let me see if my, nope, that's not working either.
We don't see it.
Nope.
You might want to walk over to
Yeah,
the
I'll walk
screen.
over to it.
Yeah.
So this is the shopping plaza. It has 3, maybe even 4 buildings, if you consider that a separate building. It's my understanding it's going in the upstairs of this building, the middle building. No? Okay, the upstairs of the eastern building? Up. Okay, the upstairs of this building. Okay, so this building.
So in other words, it's in the existing structure.
Correct.
Upstairs.
Yes.
And it's there now?
Downstairs.
What I heard?
One second. Rabbi, can I please ask you, is it on the second floor or is it on the first floor? Thank you.
Thank you.
First floor.
And
I'm
the
sorry.
request is to go to the second floor or stay on the first floor? Okay. Then the next question
completely wrong.
Is it in existence today? It is. So if it's in existence today, operating as a Chabad, how many congregants does it have to begin with already?
You can, would you please come up? Please come
I have
up.
a number of questions because I'm a little confused.
Yeah, he's coming.
It's not that I'm against it, I don't understand it.
No, you've been sworn in and your statements will be on our record. And thank you for coming up, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're asking how many congregants there are?
It's presently on the first floor, correct?
Okay, so we have a very large community of people, but not necessarily do they attend the synagogue regularly. So if you're asking me how many people attend synagogue like on a Shabbat, it would be around 100 with kids.
And that's fine. And whether they're members or not is irrelevant. What I'm trying to understand then, Kevin, is the request we're having made to us tonight that's being brought to us is if we already have Chabad there and it's already on the first floor and you want to stay on the first floor, what is it we're being asked to change that's already happening and in ongoing? I don't understand that. That's the point I'm trying to get to. They're already there.
Sure. So how this came to my attention is for the past 2 or 3 months, I was reviewing all permit applications for zoning compliance. We had the person who was previously doing that retired, so I took on that responsibility. The permits for construction came across my desk, and I realized as soon as I saw it that it required a conditional use approval from the City Commission. So I denied the permits from a zoning perspective until they obtained City Commission approval. I'm sorry, I don't recall 2 or 3 months ago, I thought it was second floor in that building, but that would have been a different permit.
Okay, so it's the first floor, it's ongoing, and this is to build it out and make it bigger, or just to be able to do it, period?
It's just to be able to do it, period. It's
All right,
just
so-
to have a certificate
So up
of use.
until now, Rabbi, and no insult, it's been operating without a permit.
Yes.
In essence, is that correct? So
Yes.
now we're asking to legitimize it.
Yes, at the time when we started off the synagogue or the community center, not in a commercial space. I mean, we were just working out of our house and doing programs in different venues, but the need became very much immediate for an established place. But when we got the place, we were not aware of the length to which we would have to go to get permitting from the city, based on what we heard from other businesses. And then as we went along, we started realizing it was a lot more involved than we thought. I was speaking to Kevin and actually the city manager a little bit, but that's how it ended up dragging on length of time that it did.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you. Do any other commissioners? All right, Commissioner Marks.
Rabbi, how long has your Chabad been in this location now, in the waterway?
Since February.
Since February. And before, where was it?
It was operating, I mean, we didn't have a commercial space. So we had 501c3, we had a corporation, we had all of that set up, but we were just operating, like I said, in different venues, some clubhouses here and there, parks, or just doing community work, which a lot of does not even require necessarily a venue. But we were operating within the community for approximately 3 years prior to the signing the lease.
So the lease you signed in what month?
I believe it was February.
February. Okay. All right. Are you going to be doing any construction at all in that site, within the walls?
So as of now, we're very new in the space, so I can't answer that question as of now. I just wanted to get the certificate of use before we would even think about anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Friedland.
I'll let Mark Noratsky go before me. It's fine.
So you do not want to speak to the item?
Oh, I do want to speak. I'll just let Commissioner Noratsky go first.
You're recognized, please.
Okay, then I would like to say I am very familiar with the Chabad of Waterways. It is not my temple that I'm a member of, but I'm very familiar with the rabbi, his family, and the wonderful good work that they do for the community, the events that they have put on in the waterways, the families that they have served, and the children, and the joy that they have brought to this community. And I think that approving this, if we didn't do it before, was maybe our mistake, but it's something we must do immediately, and it will only be a blessing to our city, and I'll be honored to have them in our city as permanent residents. And I can only say wonderful things about the rabbi and his family, and his beautiful wife is back there. So I hope that we can think about this in the positive way that it should move forward.
Thank
you. Everything she said about my wife is true.
Thank you.
And his beautiful children, I have to say.
Commissioner Noratsky.
My question was actually answered, so we're good.
Okay. Rabbi, can you tell us the name of your Chabad?
Chabad at Waterways.
Okay. And can you tell us your name?
Yisrael Brusawankin.
Okay. Is there any other commissioner that has a question or comment? All right, I'm going to open this item for public comments. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address the commission? Seeing as there none, I'm going to close it for public comment, and I'm going to request the city clerk do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Noratsky?
No.
Commissioner Shelley?
Yes, but I would like to qualify it, but I believe in the future, and I'm not here to negate the value or the excitement that you bring to the waterways, but I think there's a serious oversight on the city's part that should be corrected, that a business is running for 6 months without permit approval of any kind. And things of this sort should come to the workshop so we do air all of this out and we're not embarrassing the rabbi or the intent of what they're here for. So yes, I will vote for it, but I think in the future you must get an attorney before you start something to make sure you're in compliance. And I wish you only the best.
Vice Mayor Landman?
Yes.
And Mayor Weissman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And Rabbi, welcome officially to our city.
Thank you very much. Mazel tov.
The next item on our agenda, item 8, is ordinances, first reading. I'm requesting the city clerk to read the ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending ordinance number 2021-17, which ordinance adopted a budget for the 2021-2022 fiscal year by revising the 2021-2022 fiscal year operating and capital budget as outlined in Exhibit A attached hereto, authorizing the city manager to do all things necessary to carry out the aims of this ordinance and providing for an effective date.
Can I please have a motion for approval of the ordinance made by Commissioner Joel, seconded by Commissioner Shelley? I'm going to request that the city manager review the item.
Thank you, Mayor. The year-end budget amendment, we rebalance our books where we account for different items in the budget that either exceeded revenue projections or exceeded cost or expenses. In this particular budget, we have several things that were very positive. While they show up as a very big expense, the offsetting revenues were very high, and one of the items was the building department. We show an expense of $2.1 million in inspection and building department fees, but we booked in revenue that far exceeded that, almost double that. In our community services area, we show a negative, not a negative balance, but an expense of $950,000, which was more than offset by the revenue generated by how many people are now using our services. We are now far exceeding where we were pre-COVID, which is a remarkable thing. Throughout the COVID pandemic, the city maintains park services, while many cities did not. We did, and I think we're seeing the benefit of that now, and we're spending a lot of time now even doing more with our parks to get them up to snuff. I can do some highlights. We had some increases in our legal expenses due to some legal work that we were doing with the county. In the police department, we saw an increase in some overtime due to retirements, communications, our dispatches, very hard to get them and hold on to them, and training. The repair of vehicles are very expensive. If you've brought your car in for service, you probably know that already. And fuel and oil expenses are up considerably. I mentioned our community services, our programs and professional services are all up, but that's all due to more people using those things. Water and electric, it was a very dry season this year. Believe it or not, we usually get about 20 inches of rain during the summer. This year, we barely broke 6. So what that means is we have to pump a little more water, fresh water, and where it really affects us is the fields, the Founders Park and Waterways Park. We are changing that because we are going to be going to an artificial turf, which will eliminate the need for water and fertilizer and all that thing that really is expensive. We had to repair a backup generator here to make sure if we were knocked off power, we wouldn't lose the building. On our capital projects, I think this is worth mentioning. Our community center and our arts center, both of those things, we were going to do more of a temporary repair, and the commission advised that I should do full roof repairs, which we did. They were a little more expensive, but now we get 25 years service out of those things. Our garage, our parking garage right next to this building, believe it or not, it was designed and built by a company that had something to do with the FIU overpass. So as a result of that, our engineer and our public works director immediately sought to have an inspection of the building. And while the building is not that old, it still needs some upkeep, so we spent some money updating it, and that was about $255,000 there. We put in a little more money in for our on-demand service, freebie service. We've gone from originally 2 cars, now we're up to 8, and we're soon to be operating 10. And lastly, our street maintenance. We paved 29th Street last year, which you probably remember, it was around the holidays. I thought there was going to be a murder. But we also took the opportunity on 183rd Street, Miami-Dade County did a sewer main project, and when that project was done, they were only going to pave half of the road, which would have left things looking half done. Because we were able to take advantage of the contractors and the paving company, we're able to take that street out of our CIP lineup and do the street ahead of time, which actually saved us money because now asphalt is very expensive to have. And we did the same thing on 213th Street as part of a stormwater replacement. We wound up repaving the whole street from the point all the way down to 34th Street. If we had just done one side, it would have looked terrible, but it would have cost us twice as much if we waited to take it in the normal rotation. So while it cost us a little more money, down the line, it saves us a lot of money. So that's
Thank you. Any members of the commission have any questions for the city manager? Okay, I'm going to open the item for public comment. Does anyone in the public wish to address the commission on this item? I'm going to close the item for public comment and ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Narosky?
Yes.
Commissioner Shelley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landman,
Yes.
and Mayor Weissman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much. We have no ordinances tonight on second reading, which brings us to item number 10, resolutions, and I'm going to request the city clerk read the resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, establishing the position of city chaplain to serve at the discretion of the City Commission for an indefinite term, appointing Rabbi Guido Cohen to hold the position as the first city chaplain, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Can I please ask for a motion for approval of the resolution made by Commissioner Robert Shelley, seconded by Commissioner Friedland? I'm going to request the city manager to review the item.
This is just, I'm sorry. This resolution is, as it says, we'll be appointing a city chaplain or a clergy to attend certain functions and be a person to give guidance to the city where we just haven't had somebody designated as in that capacity. Maybe in years past there was a former reverend that used to provide these services, but in this case we're officially recognizing that person with this title.
Thank you, and I want to be clear about this. This in no way precludes our police department from appointing a chaplain of their own in a future time. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask if any member of the commission has any questions or comments about this. Commissioner Shelley.
Yeah, I had, at the workshop, had asked to put this on for a number of different reasons, and the word chaplain, I don't think really is sufficient to what we were referring to, at least what I was referring to. Rabbi Guido Cohen not only would be the chaplain and be there for guidance and spiritual leadership if needed, but more importantly, he's taken a very active role within the city in terms of the school system, taking the kids through the synagogue, teaching them, being part of the events, being part of our committees, part of the leadership program for the city from a new perspective that I think all of the kids, and not just Jewish children, all of our kids have enjoyed and been part of and benefited from. And I just felt that when we first became commissioners, mayors, there was a chaplain here, and he was at all our, call it our commission meetings. He would do an invocation of some sort if we had events in the city. It was a wonderful thing. It was a warm, wonderful feeling, but he added so much. And I believe knowing Rabbi Guido, who's already a part of the community, he's one of the rabbis of Aventura Turnberry Jewish Center, which is within our city, I felt it would be a very good, advantageous benefit to the city, the families, and it doesn't, as the mayor said, we are not precluding the police getting their own chaplain if they need one, or another religious leader coming in to work with us. This is a job that really is no different than some of us and what we do as a commissioner. He's part of our community. He's part of our leadership. He's part of our mentoring. He's part of what we do. And I think it exemplifies the kind of city we are, that we would want somebody of this high esteem and ethics and honor to be part of the leadership and mentoring of our families and our children. That was the reason I thought he's already doing it. I think he definitely deserves the title that goes with it, but more importantly, it makes it an official role. And maybe he'll feel a little guilty if he's not to say no once in a while when we require him to be here. But I will tell you, he has been attending everything we have asked him to be here for. And I just thought it would be the right thing to do as a commission to acknowledge Rabbi Guido Cohen and let him be part of our community.
Is there any other commissioner that would like to talk to this item? Commissioner Dr. Marks.
First of all, thank you, Mayor, for segregating out the police department, because I think as their needs are different, certainly they need to have their own set of chaplains to really assist them in the type of work they do. Thank you for saying so many kind words about Rabbi Cohen. It's good to know that someone who has such a nice reputation it's a consistent reputation, so thank you for that. What I want to bring forward to the commission is our country is facing incredibly challenging times right now in terms of anti-Semitism, in terms of racial divides, and on and on and on and on. It's a very large issue and it's a very large problem. And I would like to suggest that maybe the new commission, when it gets seated, might want to have an opportunity to enlarge what this commission is starting, which is adding a chaplain, to maybe consider a council of chaplains, which would include clergy from many faiths, not just one faith, but from many faiths. I don't know what the new commission would be interested in doing or not doing, but I'd like to give the opportunity for the new commission to be able to do that should they wish to. So what I would just like to suggest with the resolution, I think it's perfectly wonderful to appoint Rabbi Cohen this evening. If we just change whereas the city chaplain will establish, or whereas the city chaplain shall be ordained, or whatever, if we just change the first couple whereases to chaplains instead of chaplain, then as the new commission sits down, and should they want to be a little bit more ecumenical, or they want to enlarge and reach out, because our community is composed of all kinds of people, many, many religions, and certainly Rabbi Cohen could take the leadership with that. So I'm suggesting that maybe if we just change chaplain to chaplains, that should the next commission wish to move forward, they wouldn't have to change a resolution to be able to do it. Thank you.
Are you making that in the form of a motion? Because we have a motion, we have a resolution on the floor. So are you making a formal motion to amend it?
I think I'm making a formal motion to just amend the first few whereases, but then when it gets down to the commission to appoint Rabbi Cohen, that would stay as it is.
Please look at the wording in the resolution, not in the backup material, because that's what
I'm looking at the actual resolution.
Right. So if I hear, excuse me, if I hear you correctly, you would like to add the letter S.
The letter S up to where it says, whereas at its October 3rd meeting, commission meeting, the city commission honored Rabbi Cohen and all those.
That's the backup. The resolution is just the first paragraph.
The resolution is just the first paragraph. The whereases don't count?
Well, I mean,
Mayor, if I may make...
Excuse me, 1 second, Commissioner Shelley.
Well, the title, I mean, the resolution consists of the title, the whereas clause, the recitals, and the sections.
Correct.
So it's not, if what the commissioner is suggesting is to make a change to the title or just make a change to the recitals, those are two different things. And I think what I hear her saying is she wants to change something in the recitals, not in the title.
Correct.
I think she wants both.
Okay, but I mean, if I can, I think for consistency, if you're going to change it, you should add S in the title as well.
Okay.
And so you're still appointing one person. He's the first chaplain, but it's giving you the authorization to appoint multiple chaplains.
It's giving the new commission, should they care to, develop a council of chaplains as opposed to a singular chaplain. Again, I'm thinking about just being much more inclusive in our community.
Thank you. 1 second. I have a motion.
Yeah, can I just add one more thing? As I read it, I don't think you really need to change the title because it says you're creating the position of city chaplain. That's not necessarily singular in my view. You could have multiple chaplains, in that
It's really
position.
just in the whereases that I thought.
I agree. I think it is in the recitals.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
A second by Commissioner Landman, Vice Mayor Landman. Is there anyone that wishes to address the amendment? Commissioner Friedland.
I think that Dr. Marks points out that we have a motion and we have a resolution in front of us that we want to pass with this commission. And what the next sitting commission does, they can amend it any way they want. I don't think that we know what the next full commission is going to do, and I don't think we should be determining. I think we have here a resolution that we discussed at a workshop, and this is what we should be voting on. I don't think we should be changing it at this moment. We should allow the next commission to make their own decisions.
Do I have anyone else that wishes to talk to the amendment? Commissioner Shelley.
I want a point of clarification because I don't understand the amendment. What we have here is appointing Rabbi Guido Cohen as the chaplain. Dr. Marks is concerned that the next commission may want to add 10 more people and create a committee. But what is that then going to do to what we are doing tonight, number one?
It would still be the first.
Excuse me.
And number two, I believe this can be clarified very simply by just adding in, rather than changing it to a committee or this and that, just say something to the effect of that this commission is appointing Rabbi Guido Cohen, but in future, it's available to be added to, expanded on by the next commission. But again, as Commissioner Friedland said, they have the right to do that anyhow. It's redundancy.
So let me do this.
Stop them from doing anything as we are doing tonight.
Commissioner Shelley, let me ask the attorney. Does anything we do tonight prohibit the upcoming commission from addressing any of the issues?
It does not.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the point I was making. They can do it anyhow.
May I just make one other point?
Commissioner Joel, I still have people talking to the amendment.
I think basically it should be left just the way it is.
Right.
Leave it to the next commission to decide. If they want to expand on it, they'll expand on it. This is something new that we're doing tonight. Leave it exactly as it is.
Thank you. Commissioner Friedland.
And I do think that we workshopped this, and the commission, as it sits today, would possibly like to be able to pass this under their term. So this is what's in front of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address this item? Vice Mayor Landman.
I do echo Commissioner Dr. Marks's concerns about inclusivity and, you know, the times that we're living in right now, the anti-Semitism that we're experiencing every day. And I think, you know, I did second it to give it the opportunity to, you know, be adapted, be more inclusive, but I understand that it's also the will of the next commission that they can
do it anyhow.
Do whatever they want. But I do agree that the times that we're living in today are just very scary. It's nothing like I've experienced in my lifetime, and I do worry that the perception that we give people is something that, you know, can come back and haunt us. So that's the reason for my seconding the amendment.
Okay, we're still talking about the amendment.
Correct.
I think I've given everyone at least an opportunity to talk. It's the amendment. I'm going to call the question and ask for a vote. Vote the amendment up or down. Can I please have a roll call, City Clerk?
No.
Commissioner Joel?
No.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Narotsky?
No.
Commissioner Shelley?
No.
Vice Mayor Landman?
Yes.
And Mayor Weissman?
No. The amendment fails, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now I am going to open the item once again, but this time to the public. Does anyone in the public wish to address the commission on this item? Seeing as there's none, I'm going to close the item for public comment, and I will ask the city clerk for a roll call vote on the item.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
No.
Commissioner Narotsky?
No.
Commissioner Shelley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landman?
Yes.
And Mayor Weissman?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, Rabbi Cohen.
Mayor?
Yes, sir, ma'am.
You asked the mayor, maybe he would like to come up and say something, and so we
Maybe he would. Rabbi Cohen, would you like to come up and address the commission?
We should put a face to the name.
Thank you. I'm honored. I'm privileged. I'm committed to take this role with a lot of responsibility. And I just want to say to Dr. Marks that I will take it as a personal commitment to make this inclusive and to push the next commission to include clergy of other faith into this role. I agree with you. I understand that the way the system works, you know, it's not necessarily reflective of our priorities and our times, but conceptually, I'm with you, this should be inclusive and reflect all the faith and the lack of faith of the residents of Aventura.
Thank you, Rabbi. The next item on the agenda are reports. Do any commissioners have any reports? Commissioner Vice Mayor Landman.
Yes. We had a wonderful Halloween movie night event last weekend. Some of the commissioners were there. We sold 2,000 tickets. Almost 3,000 people showed up. That is a testament to how amazing our community services department is and all of the things that they do to bring our community together. And we have the upcoming Founders Day. Actually, first we have our Veterans Day celebration Friday, November 11th here at the Commission Chambers at 10 a.m. And we also have Founders Day on Sunday, November 13th, which happens to be my birthday. So I hope to see all of you there. And it's a great community event that brings really families out to enjoy a day of, of fun. So, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Shelley?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a report or a comment, but I think I'm going to give this to Evan Ross. This afternoon, a woman came up to me at Williams Island and told me that she lives in one of the most boring cities she's ever lived in, Aventura. And I tell you, I've heard about traffic, I've heard about malls, I've heard about everything in the world, but I've never heard boring. However, she made a very good point that I think we should deal with, and that is she has no idea of what's going on in the city because she's not on any mailing list. And I would suggest, starting forward, especially Howard, you'll be coming on, and with you, Evan, I would make a big push to gather the emails, addresses, whatever we have to do, because I hear this quite often, but not to that extent. People don't know what's going on. They don't know who to reach out to, and I think it would be a very strong, I know we have spoken at some of our meetings, if you would get the information to the building managers or to the POA reps, we could help you with it, but we're hearing this too often, and I think it's something you should address, so the city does become aware of what we're doing here.
Thank you. Anyone else to report? Okay, that brings us to public comments. I'm going to request the city attorney to review with the commission members the purpose of this item.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is an opportunity in the meeting where the public can speak on items within the purview of the city commission, of the city, that is. And the city commission, this is not an opportunity to have a dialogue with the speaker, but let the speaker speak for no more than 3 minutes about an item within the city's jurisdiction.
Does anyone from the public wish to address the commission? Please come up and state your name and address for the record.
Marge Rosenblatt, 19333 West Country Club Drive, Aventura. I just want to say thank you. I wanted to say thank you, Mayor, thank you, Denise, thank you, Bob, thank you, Mark. Linda, Rachel, Billy, you're going to keep going, but thank you. You've given 8 years of sacrifice in addition to bringing all kinds of wonderful things to our city. So on behalf of the residents, of which I speak, I would like to say it one more time. Thank you. And Mark, thank you in particular, because you've said no to keep our city smaller. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I thought I saw another hand of somebody wanting to address the commission. Please. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Jochen Conchina. I live at 3030 Northeast 108th Street. First of all, thank you for giving me a chance to address the committee. And I would like to raise 2 questions or 2 problems that really bother me. It's particular, I have a concern to that particular street, once again, 108th Street. First thing is the speeding on that street and its particular part of it from Northeast 129th Avenue. I see permanently cars that go over 50 miles over there. It's not like a once in a while thing. I see a lot of cars there. Every time I walk in there, it's a nightmare, obviously, especially sometimes when you go in and the traffic is coming from the back. And I believe it's just a matter of time when some injury going to happen. And I honestly believe that it's a very easy solution to this problem. It's just a couple of speed bumps on both ways, so that can definitely make people slow down. And even, let's say if I see the police over there, they cannot do pretty much because they don't have any controlling devices. They're just standing there, and if they even stop people, I believe no action can be taken. So that's first thing. And the other thing is cleaning up after the dogs. That's the problem that we already, with my friend, I guess a couple months ago, nobody ever contacted me, that the problem, and obviously no action has been taken. So it's again, I believe it's a problem that can be easily solved. It's easy. I have, in my own opinion, two ways of solution, resolution of it. It's either eliminating it for, let's say, DNA testing, or the other one, cleaning up and hiring some people that can do this cleanup instead of landscaping, constant landscaping over there. So my question here is to get the proper plan of action for us, what to do. Get the signatures from the people from the street, get whatever meeting with them, whatsoever. We have charts in the building. At my building and the building nearby, we have charts in the building. We can definitely raise these questions over there, get all necessary feedback from the people, see how many of them. I believe most of them going to support this, because it's my honest belief. But again, I have to understand what to do, what actions should be taken, and how should I present it to the committee. So for the next time, for the real actions to be taken. So that's two things that I want to address the committee. Thanks.
We thank you very much, and the city manager will be back in touch with you on both of those items.
If you could, we just need your name and your phone number and your address. If I heard you correctly, you were talking about traffic enforcement on 185th Street?
88. By the ACES school. By the ACES school. Okay. It's a straight street.
Okay, your time is up.
I understand that.
Okay, and the city manager will be back in touch with you. I promise you that.
Hopefully. Okay, last time was the same thing.
I promise.
Hopefully.
Okay. You need to leave your name and...
Okay, that brings us... Come on up, Ms. Layham. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Nadine Layham, and I live at One Island Place on 207th Street in Aventura. I have two things. One is, and I've been meaning to bring this up for a long time, we need a turn signal on 207th and 34th Avenue. 30th Avenue. 30th. What?
34th, I was like, okay, I'm trying.
30th.
The county is currently engineering that, and we should expect that in the next, with the county doing it, probably 12 months, but it's going to be, you're going to get that turn signal. And it's going to be considerable. There'll be enough room for 15 or 20 cars to queue, and then you'll have your signal to make the left.
That'll be amazing, thank you. But the real reason why I'm up here is to thank the Commissioner Narotsky, Commissioner Shelley, Vice Mayor Landman, and especially a friend and an incredible mayor for this city for the last 8 years, Mrs. Enid Wiseman. And I think you deserve a standing ovation for the 8 years of making this city the best in the state of Florida.
And now, as long as we're standing, I'm going to ask Commissioner Narotsky, Commissioner Shelley, Vice Mayor Landman, and myself to walk down with the city manager, the city attorney, and the city clerk.
Also, thank you to the rest of the commission, who you will continue the legacy and the great work of this city. Thank you.
All right, you can sit down.
tenga de los diplomas.
You work today? You work that hard? Really? You in the office or at home? Everything is from home. Nobody. What's happening with the apartment?
We do have some presentations to do tonight, and we're going to hand them out to the commissioners. And lastly,
Then get rid of it. What are you asking?
Denise, and
8.5?
cities, we can always welcome here in Aventura.
Pull that off, it's good.
I'm grateful for you. You've done
Of course, you got a couple of days tax on it.
Commissioner Narotsky.
What's the name of the city? What's it like up there?
Okay, Mayor, we have a special plaque for you.
Oh, look at this.
Attach this, you can't use it. Mayor loves that.
I think we need to go to Linda.
No, not unless they ask us. I think it's just so great. It's okay, leave them alone. Leave them alone, it's okay. Your group. Oh.
We do have one more thing for you there. If you want, you can speak for a second.
Okay.
This is an appreciation for your leadership and guidance as our governing board chair for both Aventura City of Excellence.
How are you? That's a lot there. I got a call from somebody I can't think of his name. Telling me this is
This is beautiful.
got it.
Okay, I have one order of business before I make some comments, followed by comments from the other three commissioners. And that is, we have an ordinance, I'm guessing, that we have a rotation schedule for our mayor, the vice mayor position. And tonight is the night that we rotate because it is stated that it is the first meeting in the month of November. So effective tonight through November 15th, Mark Narotsky will serve as the vice mayor. We congratulate you. You know, the election cycle kind of impacted what would normally be an orderly process. But because the election is coming after this commission meeting, it's made it a tiny bit awkward for us. All right. At 5:58, 8 years ago, I walked down that aisle to take my seat on the dais for the first time. On the way up, my telephone rang, and I looked down, and it was Governor Rick Scott. I answered the phone, and he called to congratulate me on my election. From the dais, Commissioner Terry Holtzberg yelled at me across the room and said, "We start our meetings on time." Pretty apropos tonight, right? And she said, "You've got 1 minute to get into your seat." I thanked the governor for the call, quickly walked up to my seat, and that very evening, we passed an item that provided for a heliport for the Aventura Hospital, helping to facilitate their ability to enhance medical care and by becoming a level 1 trauma center, the first trauma center in our part of the county. And so it began. It was a time of great change in Aventura. 4 longtime leaders in this community left the dais and passed the baton of leadership to 4 brand new elected officials. We arrived with a deep respect for the incredible work of those who came before us. We understood that Aventura is not like other cities. Our standards are higher. Correct, Billy?
Correct.
Our track record, pristine. Our leaders upheld the highest standards of ethics and good governance. We also had big ambitions, not for ourselves, but for the people we serve. Before I begin to talk about what we've accomplished, I want to take a moment to thank someone who I couldn't have done this job without. My husband, Steve. From handling every aspect of my campaign finance to putting parts of our life on hold, you've been there for me. You gave me the ability to serve Aventura. I'm forever grateful for the sacrifices that you have made and the support that you have given me. I love you more than words can ever express. Now back to Aventura. During our campaigns, the 4 of us, we talked about the environment. We talked about community engagement. We talked about education. And we talked about safety. Now was the time to put our words into action. Aventura is one of the safest communities in South Florida. Our police department is second to none. Our officers and command staff set the bar for excellence. Our department holds the highest level of accreditation, and we have had the privilege of serving during the tenures of Chiefs Steinberg, Pegues, and Bentalila. Under their leadership, Aventura PD has thrived, building meaningful relationships with our community and ensuring that our residents and visitors know that Aventura is one of the safest cities in Florida. Our commission has always made our police department our top priority. We have absolutely refused to compromise on public safety. This commission also early on made a decision to protect children. We banned the sale of e-cigarettes to minors, refused to open marijuana dispensaries, and recently, when the governor allowed it, we banned smoking in our parks and on Sofer Trail. We've maintained fiscal excellence. We've had 8 years of clean audits and 27 years of the lowest municipal tax rate in South Florida. During our 8 years, we received over $4 million in grants to help pay for upgrades in our drainage systems, seawalls, and parks. Together, we've tackled flooding, turning Country Club Drive and other vulnerable parts of our city into examples of how a determined staff and impactful investments in infrastructure can transform an area from problematic to high functioning. Our Public Works Department was accredited in 2018 and continues to hold that distinction today. We also oversaw an era of high-quality development in Aventura. There have been multiple expansions to the mall, the development of Park Square, 3 new hotels, and a multitude of high-quality projects that are still in the pipeline. Park Square became the first mixed-use development in Aventura and is incredibly successful, leading the way for more innovations. Though I'd hoped we would still be in our seats when the first Bright Line train rolled into the Aventura station, I'm proud of the work that we did in collaboration with Miami-Dade County and the Aventura Mall to make Aventura Bright Line Station a reality. Transit is changing, and we changed with it. In 2016, we approved Aventura Bike Share Program, allowing anyone in our city to utilize publicly available bicycles for recreation or transportation. Aventura also embraced a new microtransit solution when we brought Freebie into the city. We currently have the largest fleet of free electric on-demand vehicles in Florida, and more are on the way. We approved and oversaw the construction of our city's newest park, Peace Park, offering the residents living in the central part of the city a beautiful waterfront oasis to utilize and enjoy, and our students and ACEs named our park. Then almost overnight, COVID came. We worked together to come through a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. COVID completely changed the way we live and the way we work. It showcased the best and the worst in society. I could not be more proud of the way Aventura faced its challenges and thrived in spite of them. We inoculated our residents. We inoculated our first responders. We inoculated our police and the police departments of every neighboring city. We created a child care program. We never closed our building department. We adjusted commission meetings to a virtual format. We kept our schools open, and we were the first city in Dade County to reopen our parks. In the wake of Champlain Tower's collapse in Surfside, Aventura took the lead in creating transparency and structural safety. We became the first city in Florida to require all buildings to provide all safety to life inspection reports to the city, where we placed them online for public view. We didn't stop there. We grew our community development department by adding structural engineers and additional workers. As we evolved, we realized we needed a better way to communicate. Communication in a vertical city is challenging. About a year ago, we created a communications department. Today, Aventura leads the way with innovative communications, offering our residents a plethora of options to keep up with all the great things happening in our city. Most of you know that I have spent my entire life working in education. When I ran for mayor, I promised the residents of Aventura a high school of their own. Later this year, Don Sofer Aventura High School will hold its first graduation. As our students walk across the stage to receive their diplomas, we will see that the time we spent keeping our promise is now shaping the future of our community. Along with ACES, Sofer High gives Aventura's children the opportunity to go from kindergarten through high school in an A-rated municipal charter school system. As a city, we have the privilege of ensuring a world-class education for our children. Our student safety is of paramount importance. Aventura schools are among the safest in the entire country. But we didn't stop at the schoolhouse door. We created a youth advisory council that would allow our students the opportunity to see how government works. They could work alongside us and create projects that would help their community by learning and providing service to their city. An influx of funding from the America Rescue Plan fell into our laps. We prioritized the things which mattered most to our residents: public safety and our parks. Soon, Aventura residents will enjoy state-of-the-art turf in our 2 largest parks, new lighting which will allow for evening activities, new tennis, and new pickleball courts. We've remained true to our core values, passing numerous resolutions condemning bias, discrimination, and anti-Semitism. We also resolved not to do any city business with any entity that engages in boycott, divestiture, or sanctions of Israel. During our 8 years, we've gotten to know each other very well, and we've demonstrated what a dedicated group of people can do when they treat each other with dignity and respect and approach public service with commitment and intellect. Mark, you never stop reminding us that we are stewards of the taxpayers' dollars and that core services have to be prioritized. Bob, you came to office with a unique understanding of development and business. You helped navigate us through some difficult financial times that many are not aware of. Denise, no one's life changed quite as much as yours has during the last 8 years. 8 years ago, your biggest passion project was creating a bike sharing program for our city. Today, your biggest passion is being an incredible mommy to Emma and Susie. I have so deeply enjoyed serving with you, all 3 of you. Linda, you and Rachel have brought a richness to my life. You've brought wisdom, commitment, energy, and passion. We could not have done the work that we did without the 2 of you. I'm going to take a moment to address 2 former colleagues who are no longer with us. Terry Holtzberg was part of this city since its creation. She served for 9.5 years. I'm so grateful I had the opportunity to serve my first 2 years as mayor with her. Sadly, earlier this year, we lost our friend and colleague, Jonathan Evans. The world has been a darker place since he departed. While Jonathan only served on the commission for about a year, his generosity and care for others will always leave its mark on our city. But once again, Aventura got lucky. Former Commissioner Billy Joel stepped up to the plate by returning to his former role of commissioner, taking Jonathan's seat. Billy, how fortunate for all of us to have you join us. Now Aventura faces a new time for a change with new leaders, doing what we did 8 years ago. But none of them are really new. And 2 of them have served on the commission before. Michael, I'm not sure you ever stopped serving. In the 8 years since you've been on the commission, you've helped build our police foundation and the CAP program. And you continue to be a presence at every one of our community events. Paul, you feed our community stomachs and souls. You are always at the forefront of doing good. You understand the realities of owning and running a small business in our city, giving this new commission an important perspective to listen to and learn from. Amit, I know there's a week to go before the election, but I'm confident you'll be taking the oath of office. You always seem to bring a smile to whatever you do. Your creativity and innovation will serve Aventura so well. Howard, I heard a rumor. They told me that you ran for mayor, but it must have been a secret. I can't believe you never told anyone. In all seriousness, I couldn't be more proud to know that you'll be leading our new commission. I know your passion for public service. I know how deeply you care for the city. It would be remiss of me not to mention the people who fuel the engine of our city's operations every single day. Ron Wasson, Elisa Horvath, and Robert Myers. They're the only 3 people in the entire city that report to us. They are the best of the best. I also want to thank our department directors and their staffs. It's these people and their dedication that truly make Aventura the city of excellence. As I say my farewell as your mayor, I do so with clear intention. This is not goodbye. I'm not going away. Well, I'm taking a vacation, or 2, or 3, or Billy, maybe 4. But I will continue to be present to do all that I can to contribute to the progress of our city. I have tremendous confidence in the people who will move our city forward and plan to be here to support their efforts in any way that I can. Serving as your mayor for the past 8 years has been an unbelievable honor. It has exposed me to incredible people and opportunities. Public service is not and never will be about the people who sit on this dais. It's about the people we serve. It's about you, the residents of Aventura. 8 years have passed quickly. Now it's time for a new group of dedicated community leaders. Thank you for allowing me to leave a mark on Aventura. And I hope that we are leaving Aventura a little better than how we found it. God bless you. Commissioner Lamnon.
Tough act to follow, but I will try my best. Thank you to everyone who is here tonight, and especially to those who have been and continue to be involved in our city. 8 years ago, I was in my late 20s and about to be elected. Leaving office as the youngest person to serve 2 terms in Aventura, a lot has changed. Though I feel I have given a lot, I know I have gained so much throughout my experience as a commissioner. I arrived on this dais as a relative newlywed. I leave here as a mom of 2 incredible girls, Emma and Susie, and preparing to celebrate 10 years of partnership with my amazing husband, Danny. I have served with wonderful people who demonstrated the kind of ethics, intellect, and care that every city should be so fortunate to have. Each of you have brought your strengths and expertise to our commission and utilized them for the benefit of our residents, businesses, and stakeholders. The lessons I have learned from each of you will stay with me for the rest of my life. I have also served alongside and with support from a team of first-class professionals who keep our city running. Aventura is the envy of South Florida because of our stellar employees. Before I speak about each of my current colleagues, I'd like to take a moment to remember our friend Jonathan Evans, who passed earlier this year. Jonathan's time on this commission was short, but his impact didn't begin with his election, nor did it end with his passing. From our time on the Community Services Advisory Board together, I got to know someone who is kind, smart, and generous. Jonathan is deeply missed. May his memory be a blessing for us all. Now, Billy, the real Billy Joel. You left this commission as I joined it, but you worked hard to ensure that good people were elected. I'm grateful for the support and advice you gave me as a candidate and commissioner. You bring a sense of calm to difficult discussions, and you exemplify the good governance Aventura is known for. I'm glad we had the opportunity to serve together.
Thank you.
Bob, we began this journey together and are ending it together. I appreciate the way you utilize your experience as a developer and your financial knowledge to help guide our commission. Time after time, I relied on your expertise to better understand complicated items and make sound decisions. Sitting next to each other up on the dais for a while, it was fun to discuss and share our passion for the Miami Heat. Mark, We campaigned together for many months. You are as principled and consistent as anyone I know. We didn't always agree, but I respect the way you have held true to your values. As an attorney, your legal background often led you to ask questions which helped ensure the city was well protected in our contracts and decisions. Linda, you are one of the more detail-oriented people I know. You carefully dot every I and cross every T. The attention to detail has benefited the city in many ways, particularly as we have worked to expand educational opportunities in Aventura. Your background as an educational leader has been a tremendous asset to our city. You're caring and thoughtful, and I very much enjoyed sitting next to you during our workshops. Rachel, our time on the dais together has been short, but incredibly meaningful. As ACES moms, we have been able to connect on a level that goes far beyond our work, and I look forward to many years of friendship. Between your legal background and your endless commitment to doing good for those who need it most, you bring a mix of strengths to this commission that are irreplaceable. And I know the city will be well served to have you here for years to come. Enid, my high school principal. It is incredible to go from being your student to your colleague and friend. From meeting you as a teenager to serving 2 terms together, I have never stopped learning from you. You are a mentor to so many, and I know I can always count on you for guidance and good advice. 8 years ago, we went through the journey of campaigning side by side. Tonight, we turn the page on a new chapter. Your knowledge and expertise in education have done wonders for Aventura. The relationships you have built over a lifetime of service stretch across lines that so often divide people. From our own neighborhood to Tallahassee and Washington, D.C., you have earned the tremendous respect you garner. As I think about our commission, I'd like to reflect on the legacy we leave behind. 8 years ago, our community told us they wanted a high school. In a few months, Don Sofer Aventura High School will graduate its first class. Sofer High and ACES are both A-rated schools thanks to the work of the incredible educational professionals we entrust with our community's most treasured, our children. Thank you, Dr. Turkala and Principal McGee, for going above and beyond what the job requires. This has been a dream team. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. In the coming weeks, there will be wonderful people who will replace us. Howard, Paul, Michael, and hopefully Amit. I can't wait to see all that you will accomplish. Ron and Elisa, thank you for always answering my calls, no matter the time of day or night. If you didn't have an answer, you always managed to find one. You're consummate professionals who any city would be fortunate to have. Kimberly, thank you for your creativity and endless energy. Your team puts on amazing community events that bring our residents together, and I know it's a lot of hard work. I'd now like to take a moment of personal privilege to thank my family and friends. Some of you are here. Natalia, Jonah, Sandra. Without you, I could not have done this. Danny. Danny, my biggest fan and supporter. Thank you for always being there for me and taking care of the girls while this job required my time. Your unconditional love and support allowed me to give this my all, and I'm forever grateful to you for it. I love you more than words can say. My parents have been on this journey with me since it began. Maipa, you supported me through my campaign, standing out in the sun, passing out materials at the polls, and helping me through every stress of running for office. You've been here to take care of the girls when I needed to be away. Thank you for your love and support. To my girls, Emma and Susie, you both came into this world after I began my service. I hope that in your early years, seeing Mommy doing her best to give back to her community inspires both of you to understand the value and goodness that comes from helping others. My world revolves around you, and I'm so excited to have even more time to spend with you now that I won't have to attend as many meetings. That said, the rest of you aren't getting rid of me so quickly. Though I won't be a commissioner much longer, I still plan to play an active role in our city. It doesn't take a title to serve, it just takes a desire and willingness to do good for others. Emma has already told me she wants to be a commissioner. So in a couple of decades, I hope you'll be ready for another landman. Susie wants to be a police officer, having seen the example set by the incredible men and women who serve Aventura, led by Chief Bentalila. In all seriousness, serving on this commission for the past 8 years has been such a privilege and an honor. Being entrusted by our community to represent their interests is something I have never taken lightly. Tonight isn't goodbye, it is see you soon. Most of all, it is thank you. Thank you for allowing a young woman the chance to give back while learning and growing. I am as optimistic about the future of Aventura as I could ever be. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Nawrocki.
Okay, good evening, everyone. A lot of things that were said, but on my end, it's mostly a night of gratitude. First, I'm very, very lucky that during my second term, I met and married my beautiful wife, Shari, who is here. It's certainly changed my life. We do share a lot of the same politics, which makes it easy. I'm sorry to out you, sweetheart. But also, my mom is down here from New York, and I really want to say thank you for making the trip and supporting me. And my amazing in-laws are here, also Miami natives. I want to thank them. Also, to the staff here, everybody, those of you who are on the dais, and everybody you interact with, as was said earlier, and everything I'm saying tonight is the real God's honest truth. Everybody here is so fantastic, so professional, so exemplary, so responsive, and it's just such a pleasure, and it makes it such a plum job to work and take credit. And I'm going to get to the commissioners in a minute to thank them, but it's just a layup because you set things up and we just show up, and it's just really, really a pleasure, and I'm really, really grateful. And all the times that I bug all of you, and Lisa, and for Robert, and especially for Ron, and I know I can be difficult, or call it a bad time, or you want to push something through and I push back, and I just appreciate everything, from the bottom of my heart. Everybody on the commission, I'm going to start with the mayor because, when I came on, I was 31 years old, and, you kind of, I'm not going to say I thought I knew it all, but something close to that, and I really learned a lot. I mean, your knowledge base is incredible, the depth of your experience, and having worked in all these different capacities in the schools and understanding Robert's rules. I still don't know what that is. But it's just so very appreciated. It seems like you know everyone, you know everything. And, we largely align when it comes to budgets and salaries, and you really know where, how the sausage is made, and that stuff is just so critically important. And as the leader of the ship, you want somebody with that knowledge, that experience, and that, it was just a real pleasure, and I'm really grateful for everything that I learned working with you. And we'll just go in order. Denise, I mean, honestly, I'm just so shocked at how just shrewd and worldly and incredible. I'm just so surprised, honestly. We campaigned around the same time, but I'm just mesmerized by how capable you are, how knowledgeable, and you're not boisterous or loud. You know what you're doing, and you execute, and you understand things really well, and it's just really a pleasure. Bob, just tons of respect, incredible, successful entrepreneur, community member, you're on 1 million boards. I even remember the time when you saved us so much money, financially. It was brought up earlier, and I could go with examples for everybody where you really saved us. And when we looked around, how did we not catch that prior? I mean, it's just incredible, and just so much respect for you as a person, in everything that we've done. So thank you. Linda was mentioned, literally the queen of details. Oh my God. Incredible. Sometimes to the point of, and I once said it at a commission meeting that, I don't want, torturing some of our vendors is not the right word, but it's so needed, and I don't have the discipline to do what you do, and it's so incredible that you do it. And it's invaluable. It's the grunt work, it's the grinding, reading sentences and catching things that people just want to vote it and get it through. And if you don't do that, no one does. And you really, really saved us, and I'm really, really grateful. And you're a very nice person. And, you know, we've definitely disagreed over the years, but I've met you and your husband, and you're just lovely folks, and I really appreciate that. Rachel, first of all, the number one thing that I think you bring is, and something that I'm lacking sometimes, is the enthusiasm. You're in tune and in touch with the world, with our community, with our schools. You know what's going on like before anyone does. And that's a real skill set, being tuned in and being busy with the commission, being busy with your family, being busy with your professional life. That's invaluable. And I know you'll continue and keep going. And when you first came on, it seemed like you were a little bit shy and didn't speak up. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think that you're really invaluable, and I'm grateful for that pep. It's fantastic, and as I said, it's such a complementary skill set to what I am lacking. And Billy, I just want to tell you honestly, you're just such a gentleman as a human being, and your wife as well. I know Mrs. Joel is here. You're just the sweetest, lovely, always in a good mood, always with a good comment, in tune. Don't speak so much of the meetings. When you do, it carries so much weight because everybody holds you in such high regard. And I'm really, really grateful to know you as a person, let alone on the commission. And I just want everyone to know that I really gave it my all. I fought hard for what I believe in. I can be difficult. I'll be the one vote against. And I'm just, for the future commissioner, just remember what kept us good. Like, less is more. Less is more. Just remember that. People come to Florida from other states because we have lower taxes, we're more efficient. You know, sometimes people have good ideas and it's with the best intentions, but if it's not a core service, I don't believe government should be providing it. And just remember, that's how Aventura was founded in '95. We outsource most of our services, we keep our taxes low, and that's how the formula that we have for success. So with that, I wish everybody a farewell. I want to thank you so much and have a great rest of your night.
Commissioner Robert Shelley.
You know, I was told there's two people you don't follow, the mayor and the rabbi, when you speak. and everything has been said so eloquently, so beautifully this evening. But I do have just a few things to talk about, because one of the questions that you're always asked is, at least I'm asked because I am involved with so many things. I wish one of them was a paying job, but it's nice to do. But more importantly, people always ask, why do you do something? Why do you take the time to do it? What do you get out of it? And I can tell you just a brief story about why I do it. Many years ago, I taught, and I believe I've mentioned this to the rabbi, but I taught a class at the Yeshiva in New York in ethics and business. And I did it because my daughter being a federal judge and my wife being a cantor puts me in a very awkward position that I almost have to behave at all times. I'm not allowed to be bad. I don't have that luxury. However, one of the things that I learned from that class was from the students. Who was a graduate class, and they used to ask the most amazing questions in terms of what do they do in business, what's the most important aspects of it, why do they want to get into business. And one of the things they started out by saying was, it's not how you judge your fellow man in life, but in business. And I say that because many years ago, before I ran for commission, I ran into Susan Gottlieb, who was our past mayor, and we were at a groundbreaking at Williams Island where we were putting in an art gallery. And she was leaving, and she said, you know, maybe it's a good idea, Billy Joel is leaving, and maybe you should run for his seat. And I never even thought about it. I knew Billy from the island, of course, we're neighbors. And I did give it some thought. And, you know, I met with Eric Soroka, who at that time was the city manager. And I loved the fact that the city had ethics, it had honor, it was run properly, there was no arrest records, we never had any problems within the community. And I said, yes, that's the kind of place I want to be part of. So when you go back to being asked that question, why do you do these things? I did it, and I think we all should do it, is we're here to make the place a little bit better than when we found it. We're here because we have a responsibility to take care of those that maybe just can't take care of themselves or need a little bit of help, or our intellect. We all sit here up here, and it's interesting because if you hear what we've done all these things for the city, but what you're not really hearing is what all of us do in our real life, our paying job lives. And you look at the mayor who has been school board of everything in the world you can name, from principal to teacher to chairman. You have Denise, who's done marketing, advertising, become the most amazing mother. Mark, who is our, I guess, the curmudgeon at large up here on occasion. He's our staunch Republican who is going to stick to the rights, and rightfully so. He believes in honor. He believes in ethics. Dr. Marks and I go back so many years together. I was on the board of Hochberg School, and Dr. Marks was our principal and head of education for the school, where we had 400 kids a year graduate through those doors for many, many years. And what she did was amazing. We have an attorney in Rachel who spends her life dealing with families' issues and yet has enough time to come here, give up those private times. We have Billy Joel, who is one of the most successful businessmen I've ever met. And one day, if you ever get to hear his story, you'll probably ask him for a loan. But in spite of it, he's humble. You would never know it. And that's because his wife would kill him if he was anything other than that. But we've all done in our life all of these things. But I believe it's our job to do something. We all work hard. We all have our careers, the Billies and I at the time, the Enids of us possibly. I've reached the epitome and the pinnacle of success in our field of endeavor. Now what? You work all of your life, and at the end of it, you retire. And now what? And it's at a time when you're the most knowledgeable in the field that you have worked in. So to me, when this opportunity came along, I said, wow, what an opportunity to give back. And I honestly believe everybody sitting up here has that same thought process. What can we do that can take what we've learned and give it back to our city, give it back to the people, because they are the beneficiaries of what we have learned. So what I feel is we are here because we want to give back. We never finish what we start, and we shouldn't finish what we start, because by finishing it, you become complacent. We want to leave something for the Howards, the Amits, everyone, Michael. Those are the people that will continue our dreams. But our dreams and their dreams are really one and the same, to make Aventura something special. There are people that work in this city, Robert Myers, Ron Watson, Alyssa, who I've called the boss of the city because really she's the one that does it all. It's a teamwork. We work as a team, but in 8 years of sitting here, we have never had one fight, not one argument. We have never had a disagreement that went past conversation. At the end of it, we may not have disagreed, but we agreed to disagree and work out in an honorable, ethical manner. So for me, I've done this because I wanted to give back something. Finance was one of the things I did. I worked with the city on it. I tried to do the best I could, and it's a very frightening thing when you're representing hundreds of millions of dollars of other people's money, because it's not like your own. You don't buy 100 shares of Amazon and hope it goes up. You have to make sure whatever you do doesn't go down. But it was very rewarding, and I will only say thank you, because it's been an honor, it's been a privilege, and I only hope, and I'm sure, the next commission coming in, Linda, you're still here, Rachel, you're here, Billy, you're going to be here, will do exactly as we all did. We gave back to the city, we gave back of ourselves, we imparted our knowledge, and the schools have been our baby and our child. So I don't think there's much more I could ever say that hasn't already been set up here, except thank you for giving me the opportunity to give back to something that I love dearly. Thank you.
May I please ask for a motion to adjourn? Made by Commissioner Nawrocki, second by Commissioner Joel. Thank you for coming tonight and sharing our journey with us.